You're listening to the Dragon Between podcast, a 5th edition Dungeons & Dragons campaign that takes place in the Eberron pulp fantasy setting created by Keith Baker. New episodes are recorded every Sunday and released on the following week. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the YouTube channel for clips and future episodes. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter for updates and news on the podcast. And now on with the show. Can I be real with you guys for a minute? You're probably not going to like this episode. Decision was made to live stream the finale to this chapter, which led to most of the recording being lost forever. What was captured is the first part of the session, our brave adventurers attempting to gain access to the vault with keys in hand. We hope that you enjoy the discussion that we recorded after the finale, and once again we apologize for fumbling on that finale, and promise that will never happen again. Thank you, and on with the show. A group of strangers met on the House Orion Lightning Rail, and found themselves drawn into a treasure hunt. They fought monsters together. They went to another plane of existence together. They found duplicity and danger around every corner, and eventually found themselves within this treasure vault, ready to face their destiny. When we last met, the group had been scattered and had descended into the sewers to protect themselves from the cult. After routing and moving through the sewers for several hours, they found themselves back within Trollskull Alley, outside of Trollskull Manor, and were reunited with their friends, Samael and Zito. The group then sent one of their own, Byron, into the manor to retrieve Istrid Horn and obtain the final key that would allow them to enter into the vault. The group elected to move through the sewer systems of the city in order to keep a low profile and escape the prying eyes of the cult. After traveling again for many hours under the city in the deep recesses of the sewer system, they found themselves within the Mythos Plateau region. The streets above were cleared, and there appeared to have been an incident at the Classic Theater, their destination. Upon investigating and heading into the theater, the group found their former friend, traveling companion, Bryn. The sorcerer greeted them and was immediately attacked by the party, seeking vengeance for the death and destruction within the theater. After a fierce battle, many of the creatures slain, Bryn fire upon his former friend, felling two of them. Zara and Siegfried drew their last breaths. Unbeknownst to them, the dwarven cleric Istrid Horn, upon defeating Bryn, the party realized that she had the ability to bring their friends back, and she quickly cast a spell on both of their fallen friends. The group then used Zito's corpse candle to awaken the fallen Bryn and learn more information about his dealings with the cult, and learned that the vault had been breached. After quickly searching the theater and finding the opening that led down deep, deep under the city into this hidden treasure vault, the party found themselves outside of the massive treasure vault door, which was ajar. Several bodies of strange insect-like creatures and robed cultists scattered, and the signs of many more individuals within. After investigating the vault on a different level, over 3 crumbling bridges leading to doors, the party used the key to unlock emblazoned with a dwarven image, and found themselves staring at a chamber revealing a spiral staircase heading down. Istrid, staring at the newly opened portal, begins to walk towards it and stretches out her hand. And as she does, Zito, you see a shimmering as her hand gets closer to this opening. And her hand now presses against what appears to be nothing. Istrid turns around and looks back at you. Hey, there's something blocking this.
What do you mean there's something blocking this?
I'm telling you that there's something blocking this.
I'll go up to the door and see if I can tell what's going on.
Okay. As you get closer and sort of shimmy past, move beyond the dwarf, you get close to the door and the opening, and you can see beyond. You can see it's a 15 foot by 15 foot chamber, and there is nothing within the chamber. A few frescoes hanging. This spiral that looks like it's heading down, and as you get closer, you can feel like a vibration coming off of it, and you can see that it seems to be like there's an invisible barrier blocking entrance. "60 feet below, in the level below, the rest of the party, you can see that you heard of the door opening, and you can now see, just barely see, a confused dwarf who is now standing just behind Zito. You could just barely see Zito.
Hey, Zito, what's going on over there?
There's some barrier blocking our way. Is there some other hallway that we can go down?
There's one. The other bridges are broken, though. I mean, hey, Samael, buddy, there's a barrier blocking the door.
Oh, really? Like a physical barrier or what?
I don't see anything, so I'm gonna suggest it's probably a magic wall barrier.
Sim, you head across the bridge.
Yes.
Okay. As you begin to walk across the bridge, you can now hear the sounds of cracking stone, and bits of debris are falling off the edges of this narrow 5-foot wide bridge. And in places, there's a large section that's like going away.
Nobody else has come across the bridge until we figure this out. It seems to be barely holding on. I wouldn't want no more than one person coming across at a time.
Hey, guys. Is this where the keys go? Maybe lock the doors.
We already played your bearded face and opened the door up over here, but there's something blocking it.
Try light.
Doors depicts one of the different keys.
Now, my friend, my brain is a bit fuzzy. What 3 keys again? The clues that we...
A unicorn, sunlight, and 2 people playing your bearded face on the bagpipe.
So we need one of these things at the end of each bridge, then I would assume.
Yeah. Are you all dense? We literally, I guess you're upstairs. We played your bearded face down here. So, that opened this door, but there's a barrier blocking us from getting through the door that opened with the...
But we may have to do the other two steps at the other two doors so they can open in unison, or they may not open at all. Keep in mind, I don't know much about magic, but it seems like it makes sense to me.
It
Well-
could also be that others already got through it and set up barriers so we can't get through.
Well, it's worth a try. Do we each want to take a door? Nick, you're right in front of this one. So the way.
Do you have a spell light?
Zeno has the scroll for light, I believe, that he got from the magic, his friends, and I believe Broomhill still has the unicorn on her.
I do.
That middle door's already been opened, though. The one at the end hasn't been opened.
Okay. And we just need the.
I don't think we inspected the door on the other side.
Zara and Brunhild
maybe
were
I-
so excited they ran over and just toppled over one another.
Oh, sorry. Sorry, I didn't mean to trip you.
It's fine. I understand. You can't see me from up there.
Well, maybe it's better if I stay here in case anything happens, in case I need to heal you or something.
Well, okay. Well, then I'm crossing the bridge.
Large chunks of the bridge have fallen away in places as you cross, or as you begin to cross, and you can see that the door that's in front of you, as you get closer to it, it takes on a weird rainbow patina, and suddenly a unicorn's visage appears within the metal, like it just appears out of nothing.
Okay, cool. Well, guess I gotta pull out my unicorn.
Okay, so you pull out the unicorn.
Yep.
All right. As you pull out the unicorn, little facsimile unicorn, stuffed unicorn, with the strange-looking wand that seems to be covered in dirty, dusty-looking candy, the little thing lets out a little whinny, and farts glitter. As you present it to the door, the stamped visage of the unicorn on the door turns and looks at you, and you hear the sound of metal creaking as it regards you, and the eyes flash a brilliant violet color, and you can hear the cogs of the whirring as the door begins to split in half and open up. And as you do so, the little bundle that once was a doll that resembled a tiny unicorn looks at you, licks your face with a little felt tongue, and then begins to go limp and fall apart.
No!
And looking beyond the door, you can now see another set of spiral staircase and a little bit of a shimmering image, hazy image. As you get closer to the door, put your hands up, you can see that there appears to be some sort of a semi-visible barrier. It's like a silvery, misty silvery bit of wisp.
Guys, there's another magic bubble barrier, and it killed my unicorn.
Well, that sounds like it worked. Let's try the middle one. Nick, you got this?
I need the key first.
Get your sword sled, man. Come on over here and grab it.
I'll get on my sword sled. Does it actually
Okay.
fly?
It does. Okay. So hopping on your sword sled, Pulling it out of your pack takes a little bit to pull the thing out of your pack, and then very quickly it activates as you step on it, lifts up in the air, and you're able to fly over and grab the scroll of daylight from Zito. And as you fly by, Nicholas, you can see just outside of that door, you can see half of a body, a robed body, is laying on the ground, and there is blood covering the end of that bridge.
Somehow gives you a nod and a thumbs up as you pass by.
And as you get closer, you can see that what you was an open door before appears to be a painting of a slightly cracked open door. And where the body terminates, just outside of the door frame and the door, you can see that the front half seems to have been painted onto the door, as if someone painted the entrance into whatever this chamber is beyond, and actually painted this dead person, the other half of their body. But getting closer, you can see this is clearly a metal door that someone has painted this image on. It's very confusing, very strange.
Hey guys, the door's actually not open. It's just a painting. I'll pull out the scroll. Do I see anything that I'm supposed to look at, or?
Looking at the door, you can see that there is an image of a raised, what you can assume to be some sort of planetary object, possibly a sun.
I'll walk up to it. Pull out
Okay.
the scroll. Let there be light.
Okay.
And cast light.
As you unfurl the vellum paper, the sigils and markings within the paper begin to alight, and this glow cascades off of the paper. As you begin to use the scroll, you can see now light is now peering on the edges of the door frame all the way around, from the top to bottom on the sides. And there is a groaning noise as the door splits in half from the light that is shut and flooded onto this door. And you are all within the chamber, close to the door, within about 20 or 30 feet. You're all blinded momentarily. The sound of the metal on metal opening and the sound of gears turning. And Nicholas, when your vision returns to you, you look down and you can see now that there is another half of a corpse, clearly a robed cultist, laying on the floor in front of you. And you can see a spiral staircase. And the moment that happens, the wall in front of Zito and in front of Brunhild suddenly closes up and becomes a solid wall. The openings for each of those chambers just become solid walls.
I think I found the opening.
Go in.
There's a dead dude right here.
It's fine. Go in. We'll follow after you. It's all right, Nick. I break out my sword slot, and I actually, even though I sounded heavily sarcastic, I fly over behind him.
Okay.
I yell over to him, check his pockets for gold.
I'll enter through the door.
Okay. As you enter within, there is no invisible barrier here. You can see that blood is still gushing out of the lower half of this body into the room now, and is gushing out of the upper half as well. And you can see headed down, and in each corner of this 15 by 15 foot chamber you can see like dwarves. You can now hear a sound of sort of like a distant trilling noise, many feet on stone.
Well, they're not going to kill themselves. Let's go.
Careful. Let me check for traps.
Good idea.
I'll look around. Do I see anything out of the ordinary that would catch my eye?
Okay. Make a perception check. If you're just looking around.
Yeah. To see if I see anything that stands out as a trap or anything.
No. Looking around the room, you see that a layer of dust has clearly been destroyed by a pathway. Like the rest of the chamber leading up to the spiral layer of and dust and cobwebs within the chamber, but a little 5-foot wide path directly to the narrow staircase, as if it has been by many feet.
Well, stay on the path. Whoever walked here before, stay on the path. Follow me. I'll lead the way.
You sure you want to lead the way?
I mean, look for trap.
Very well.
Siegfried will Samael, and he'll just out and just float over the sled.
Okay. Let's say it is next to impossible to fly on a sorcerer sled and go down this spiral staircase, I should mention. In order to go down the case, you would have to get off of your sled.
I'll get off it and walk downstairs with it behind me, and then I'll get back.
Okay. Are all heading down the spiral staircase?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Following, or is she staying behind?
Istrid has been inspecting this door, which is now a wall, and she looks over to all of you who are precariously perched on somewhat load-bearing beam, the remains of this bridge, and she says, "Oh, you found us. We going up or we going down? I thought this was the entrance. Heck." And
No, we're going down. Usually are.
Okay. Didn't know I was getting in a fight today, but oh, very well. So you're all heading down the stairs. Who's going first?
Nick, I'm looking for traps as I go down.
Yeah, we're in our order right now on the screen.
Okay. Nick, you begin to the staircase. You want to go perception check for me? The staircase itself is this. It's a smooth-hewn wall, and spiral staircase continues to feels like approximately 120. And as you continue to head down, chitter and louder, and now you're starting to hear the sounds like metal, something small, metal falling in stone. Every so often in the distance. Every so often you like a grunt. Now hear what below you. And as you get to the bottom of the spiral staircase, you find yourself at a... And unfortunately, that was it. That was the extent of what was captured when the finale was recorded. The party delved into the spiral staircase, and they encountered the cult within a large treasure vault and defeated the forces within the vault, only to discover that the northern wall had been destroyed, revealing that the vault itself had been held within a large stalactite hanging over a very deep gorge, a chasm far below, underneath the city. And they realized that the cult were removing the treasure from the vault and ferrying the contents of the vault deeper into the underbelly of Sharn via a sky coach, and flying it through a series of lava tubes into a massive lava-filled chasm chamber over a bridge towards a large temple made of obsidian marble that sat in the center of this large lava-filled chamber. It was there that the group realized that they had come too late. some sort of ritual had begun, and some sort of strange eldritch machine had been activated and was burrowing a hole through the ceiling of the cavern. They then witnessed this machine rise up like a massive Dyson sphere with several concentric rings spinning this way and that way, increasing in speed as it rose up through this large hole that it had burrowed into the ceiling. And the decision was made to follow after the machine. They ducked and dodged chunks of the chasm falling down, raining around them, and falling into the lava. And the sky coach was sent up the shaft that had been burrowed into the ceiling, following after the machine. And the party witnessed this eldritch machine rise up into the misty air high above the city, between the wards. And it was there on this strange Dyson sphere-like eldritch machine that the party had their final confrontation with the cult of the spiral. They encountered cult forces led by none other than Agent Blackwater, Nicholas Highhill's former beloved, who had taken the staff that the group had been tasked with finding by Zardoz Zord and using it to unlock some sort of strange spherical prison. The party fought the cult forces, unfortunately too late to stop Vivette from summoning some sort of strange creature, some sort of winged, aberrant, dragon-like creature with the face of a mind flare as it emerged from the sphere and attacked the party. And nearly laying the party low, the group were just barely able to triumph over this creature, with the party's paladin Samael slaying Agent Blackwater and Nicholas, the rogue, scoring the final blow on the creature, sending it back violently to the realm of madness. And what followed was humorous moments of the party attempting to shove as much of the treasure that they could, which was laying around the platform, into their personal bags before the Citadel guards and authorities arrived to secure this strange eldritch machine. And time progressed. The party went their separate ways, but not before being risen above their temporary status within the esoteric order of Orion as prospective members of the Impetu Arcanum, and they were given the opportunity to forge their own chapter of the Impetu Arcanum within their Trollskull Manor in Cliffside. And though the chapter ends, and seemingly for now the story of these characters has come to somewhat of an end, it is not the end of our campaign, and we are beginning a new chapter very soon with 2 new groups of adventurers, some of which the party will now explain to you in what follows, which is a recording that we made to sort of recap the finale and go over a few moments that were our favorites. Ryan, you want to tell them about your character?
Sure, I'll tell them about my character. I'm playing a Warforged Sorcerer, who is he was a soldier during the morning, and he was right on the borderline of ground zero of the event, and he was one of the few survivors. And some of the magic from the morning got trapped into his skeletal system, or however Warforged are built, and that's how he's getting his wild magic powers.
Oh, so you're going wild magic. Sorcerer. I like it.
I always wanted to play wild magic sorcerer since I started playing Dungeons and Dragons, but I never had the opportunity.
And Sorcerer is a lot of fun. That's a cool character.
So what's your character gonna be like?
I'm gonna be the dungeon master.
I never heard of a dungeon master as a class.
He's the guy that takes your backstory and waits around the corner for you when you least expect it and hits you with it.
He's above all of the gods. He is the.
That sounds like my metagame in general.
Nah, I'm immune to metagaming because I'm the DM.
Well, I want to be that class so I can.
Oh, by the way, Kevin said he was on his way.
Okay.
Yeah, how can we multi-class in a dungeon master, Jeremy?
Yeah.
I think you have to cast a wish spell. And what I mean is you have to cast a Make-A-Wish Foundation spell. Yeah, so Sunday is going to be interesting.
Did you decide on what group's gonna start yet?
Derek Sabrita's group's going to start.
All right, we're gonna start up next week.
Yeah, you
Or at least-
guys should be starting on the 4th.
All right, sounds good.
Hopefully everybody will be available. You probably won't have your cleric for a little while.
As I said, we'll just buy extra health potions.
Probably a good idea.
Or you could ask Commander Data,
No.
the cleric.
There are no good ideas. Either that or all of them are good.
How's it going, Kevin?
Pretty good. Sorry I got distracted. Your computer case just came in, and I was over there nerding it up looking at your computer case and lost track of what time it was.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I got it sitting at the foot of my bed right now.
All right, well, whatever you do, use protection.
Oh, I fully intend to. It's a PC, so silicone-based lubricant works best.
Yeah, it's probably a good idea. A water-based lubricant's not that good for a PC case.
No, they're not. But I'm fairly certain there's a reasonable argument here for a mineral oil-based lubricant.
Speaking of lubricant, have you seen the PC cases that have like the front have like a water cooled and it's filled up and the water like cycles through it? Like the water cooler heat sinks?
Yeah, I've seen those.
I thought that was so neat. It was like it was RGB lit up and you actually fill the tube with water and it goes through like a cycle where it drains and then refills constantly.
What it is, they have a pump in there. It's pumping water through it, just like you do on a car radiator, right? With the radiator system with fans,
Right.
and it'll have a water block on the CPU that's drawing heat away from it. But they put regular water in those. They make a white fluid in there that you can put in there in case you want to run black lights through it. You can light the whole thing up with the white fluid. They put the RGB in the actual connectors now, so if you're running a hard line tubing or a soft line tubing, it'll light up the whole tube, not just the water anymore. Those things look really, really cool, but they are a lot of money and a lot of maintenance, a whole lot of maintenance.
Yeah, I figured as much. It's like I can watch those video clips on YouTube and get the same satisfaction as having it in front of me. So I would never want to have something like that.
But Derek and I have had this argument quite a bit that the improvements in air cooling technology are so good now that there's no real reason to have a water cooled PC unless you're doing heavy overclocking, and none of us, including Nick and Zara, make enough money to do heavy overclocking.
Yeah, because my first PC had a water cool, and I was like, do I need to get water cool for like a new one? Nah, it's not worth it.
Not at all. It's just a lot of headache, and it's just troublesome in general. It's not worth it. Like If I were going to do it, I would probably do a hardline solution, and I would probably do an open air case. That way I could easily get to all the hard lines and be able to drain the PC with relative ease, because having it inside of a regular case and having to deal with that is just a headache, man. I mean, it's bad enough having to dust my case out now. Now I got to drain it, make sure I don't have any leaks or anything, and then redo the fluid. And occasionally you have to take the water blocks apart and scrub them out with a toothbrush. It's just a big ass pain for no benefit at all if you're not overclocking. And if you're overclocking, you're the kind of person that's going through a $2,000 graphics card every other week anyway.
And you're also, you got to make sure you feed the fish too.
Exactly.
Yeah, isn't water cooling more for aesthetics now than anything?
Unless you're overclocking, yes. Now, a vodka-cooled PC is really good, though, because if you make a vodka-cooled PC, not only can you keep your PC relatively cool, but then you can drain the vodka off and sell it to your neighbor. Then you get you a new bottle of vodka to replace it with. And if you have too much vodka, you just drink the excess.
You could just put a tap on the front of it.
Yeah. What's funny, though, is I've actually seen a guy build a vodka-cooled PC. He actually used the vodka bottle as the reservoir for it. And surprisingly, vodka cools PCs really, really well. I'd say that's the latest achievement in Soviet PC technology.
I mean, I really couldn't imagine. That'd be crazy. Oh, even water cooled? Nah, it's vodka.
Yeah, the guys on YouTube has got a channel called Life of Boris, where he does a gaming channel where he's just a Czechoslovakian guy who is crazy and makes YouTube videos, but he cooled his PC with vodka, and it worked. Of course, you know, being this Czechoslovakian, though, the only two games he plays are Stalker and Metro.
Or a Minesweeper.
You know, I haven't actually thought about that. I'm about to send him a message and ask.
Hey, do you still play Minesweeper?
Every day to school.
Well, I wasn't planning on running this for like super long. So if people show up as we're doing it, that's cool. But I figured that we could go ahead and get something on the record, get everybody's opinion on what happened, and sort of wanted to do this a little bit more informal as opposed to having like a set list of topics. Since there's so many of us here, it's different when you just recording with one other person. It's easier for people to bring up a topic off the fly, off the cuff, you know. So, but we had ourselves a little bit of a doozy on Sunday. In my opinion, it was probably one of the best sessions you guys have had.
Yeet.
You know,
Except no one died.
I mean, were you expecting it to happen? Do you feel like your experience would have been better if people had died? I mean, you're forgetting 2 people did die the session prior to that one.
I was actually a little bit upset that Samael didn't die or have a bad ending. As like, Samael's a dark character, his ending was wrapped up way too nicely for him to just as well have had a bow and some sprinkles on it. Samael should have died or gone to prison.
I mean, Zara was like obviously happy to be alive, but dang, she took a hard. Pretty epic ending though, you know. Nick's ex versus Nick's wife, going at it, cat claws out and
I told y'all I was going to kill that bitch right from day one. When she first showed up, I said, "Don't worry, I'm gonna kill her for you."
Thank you, Samael. Zara, Nick is forever in your.
Yeah, I am.
That being said, I know Nick and Zara are supposed to retire and go off into the countryside, but I would really like to run a Nick and Samael one-shot sometime. Just team up and wreak havoc.
Oh.
What?
That would be a lot of fun.
I'll tell you what, we can make that a topic tonight for each of you. You can all, if you want, off the cuff, say what your characters would be doing. But before we get into all that, Why don't we just go ahead and get into, first and foremost, what each of your favorite parts were from the finale. We'll go ahead and start with you, Sabrina.
I gotta say, fighting Vivette was definitely the most intense part. Literally, Sabrina, was so nervous that I totally screwed up my attack. I rolled the wrong dice, I targeted the wrong person. Yeah. But I was just so.
Well, that's to be expected. I mean, not just Zara, but Sabrina had a personal stake in that whole fight.
I guess so.
What about you, Ryan?
I think my favorite was probably playing a cat and mouse with that. Was that mind flare dragon-like creature for over half the battle?
Oh, the white worm.
Yeah. Yes, the white worm.
He was trying to stomp you.
Yeah, I'm too small, just right between the white worm's toes.
Yeah, I've mentioned this to a few of you that the white worm was more than anything. It was more of just a brute force to deal with, like a distractionary thing, where the real threat was Vivette, was Asian Blackwater. And I think I did a pretty good job of designing the encounter to where you guys didn't really know what to do. And you know, there was a lot of waffling, you know, after you were done in the vault, and it's like, oh, where do we go next? What do we do next? You know, almost losing characters, falling off of the sky coach that was hanging outside of the vault. Like, when I envisioned like where the vault would be, I had this idea that the dwarves would have dug down into an existing geological feature, and I made it a giant stalactite that was hanging over a cavern. And the dwarves, of course, think nobody would ever, you know, try to get to it from underneath, and they would never find it from above unless they were in the know. But of course, the cult have a lot of resources, and they had the time and the methods and the know-how to take that treasure, which the treasure to them was secondary. They were trying to get their hands on that staff.
Nick, though, you know, you lied and it worked. Remember you lied about the staff?
Oh, yeah.
I don't think Nick knew about the staff.
Well, then you did a pretty good job of lying and telling the truth. I don't know. Is that the first?
Yeah, I think the only 2 or 3 people who knew about the staff was Zito and Samael. But I think the Dark Elf said something about a staff, but
yeah, that was
the Dark Elf say something.
Yes, the trio actually told you that that's what Zord wanted. He was going to pay you an extra 5,000 gold if you brought him the staff. But of course, you guys, you know, didn't deliver it, so you didn't get that extra money.
So we're all murdered in our sleeps from the 3 drow that we didn't. We just double crossed.
Well, you don't know what happened. What about you, Kevin? What was your favorite part from the finale?
You know, I actually liked quite a bit of it. But one of the things I tried to focus on with Samael is I tried to make Samael more bloodthirsty and really push his character towards that darker side. making sure nobody got out, nobody survived any encounters, nobody escaped, that sort of thing. On top of that, I'd already spoken with Mark about that prior to the campaign, telling him that I was going to be trying to stop people and to try to work with me if it was possible to keep anybody from escaping. Samael intends to kill everybody. That's why I thought Mark had put that hunter's mark on me earlier, because I thought he was going to try to kill me because I was getting ready to rage on everything.
I think we were all wondering when Byron put that hunter's mark. We were all like, "Wait, hold up, what's going?"
Yeah, I thought he was getting ready to drop me. And if there's anybody in the party who could do it, Mark is definitely the one to do it. Especially since I was low on spells too. Because if Byron attacks me 3 shots in rapid succession, and I've got all my spells, then I can light him up with my Infernal Rebuke 3 times in a row and possibly kill him. But I didn't have that, so I was really, really nervous at the moment. But it seemed like somehow being a lot more bloodthirsty suited everybody in the party at the time being, so we just kept on pushing it.
What about you, Derek?
Well, you should say Nick the Dragon Slayer. Everybody at the tavern, Nick the Dragon Slayer. The final blow to the dragon. It's all Nick. Nick did it himself. All the tales that when he travels with Zara away from the group. Oh, Nick! It was only Nick.
And then I'm going to tell them about the time his ex-girlfriend was beating him up and somehow saved him.
That's true.
It was. I thought it was epic that you killed her, Kevin.
Yeah, well, I mean, you know, Samael is a bit confused. At this point right here, he pretty much thinks he is the Grim Reaper. So when he rolled up on her, whether he missed or not, he was pretty sure she was going to die.
Can we all talk about how Samael sent Agent Blackwater to the Keeper?
That was intentional on my behalf. I was surprised she didn't explode in a green flame when I did it.
Yeah.
What was your favorite part of the ending, Jeremy?
My favorite part of the whole thing was you guys floating on a sky coach over a river of lava in front of a temple and not knowing what to do. And Samael yelling, "Just ram it! Ram into it!"
That's what you're supposed to do. We ram into it and use the force of the collision to throw us over there.
That was...
You mean
Go ahead.
you mean it wasn't the aftermath of finding that YouTube only recorded 40 minutes of the entire podcast?
Oh no, that was something else.
I think that was probably my second favorite part of the night was your reaction when you found out that YouTube only did that.
Yeah, we thought you were joking at first. I mean, even I thought you were joking.
Yeah, well, the funny thing is, when I started to have issues, I made a conscious decision at that point to either continue to just try to stream it or to switch over and just record. And instead of you going with my gut and recording, I decided I'm gonna wait it out and try to stream it. So, lesson learned. But I thought it was great. I had a great time running it for you guys. That was 8 months in the making, that encounter. You know, you guys went on quite the adventure. That, I mean, there were things that happened in the background that were going on that you guys were completely clueless about. And, like, for example, you guys had no idea that you were being watched from the very beginning. From the very moment you stepped foot in the city. You were on the cult. You were on the cult's radar right from the get-go. And some of the things that I can answer some questions. If you guys have questions about the chapter, I'll be more than happy to answer them. As long as they don't potentially lead to a spoiler for the next chapter.
Ooh.
So if any of you want to ask questions, fire away.
Ooh, I made it in time for questions and answers.
Ooh.
Hey, Mark.
Mark, I just wanted to say that when he asked me what my favorite part of the adventure was, I told him it was the moment when I thought you were about to kill me.
I wouldn't do that. I'm there to watch your back, not take.
We all wondered there though for 2 seconds.
Well, somehow it just raged and yelled that nobody is getting out alive, and then Mark transferred his hunter's mark to me. And being a guy that stays in the shadows, you know, he constantly has to make decisions as to whether people live or die. And I was kind of wondering what decision he had made for a second there.
Yeah, we were just talking about what everyone's favorite moment was.
Everyone's attempt to drive the sky buses or get run over by them.
There was a real moment where Zara, you nearly had a chunk of the ceiling fall on the sky coach and kill everyone.
Oh boy. You know, another one of my favorite moments was when we ran the sky coach through the rings on that thing. And we'll take 10 hit points of damage, and I'm like, oh boy. The difficulty level just it just.
Oh, I wasn't playing. I was trying to kill y'all.
I got real scared there.
And that high-level cleric really saved y'all's bacon a few times. Just imagine if you hadn't brought her. You would have 2 dead characters going into the fight.
Well, yeah.
Let's be honest, Jeremy. We wouldn't have made it that far if we only had 2 characters.
No, I meant you'd be down to 5 characters.
I'm saying if we were down 2 characters, there was no way that we were gonna make it all the way to the end.
Probably not. It would have been hard. It would have been rough. You had gotten through the vault, most likely.
Yeah, but we would not have gotten the dragon down.
Yeah, that's true. That would have been a tough fight. Because when that dragon got released, then Agent Blackwater was just gonna walk around and one by one kill all of you. Because one-on-one, she would have taken out probably any member of the group, except maybe Samael. It would have taken longer to take down Samael with his armor.
Yep. But somehow went ahead and showed that bitch her place. A dog kennel.
No, I was just telling, before you hopped on, Mark, I was opening up the floor to everyone. If they had any questions about the chapter, anything that's not something that's going to be covered in the next chapter, if any of you wanted to ask me questions about the campaign so far, go ahead.
Well, I have one about the last battle. When Zito ran over to grab the staff and try to yank it out of the ground, would his spell that he cast later on would have been able to retrieve if he would use that instead of trying to grab it?
What was happening with the staff is that when she stuck it into the phylactery device, it created a wall of force around her. And once the device had finally begun to open, the wall of force had shrunk to just around the staff, which is why you couldn't touch it, Zito. But yeah, you could have pulled it over to you. Even if you couldn't touch it, you could have pulled it away. You could have prevented that sphere from opening if you would have used your ability to pull it away from it. Because even with a wall of force around it, you could have tugged it out of the lock.
Yeah, I was thinking that if I did use my spell, that probably would have either not done anything because it would have hit the wall of force. And
Oh yeah, that's right. Now that I'm thinking, I was thinking that about a different spell. Yeah, I don't think catapult would have worked. Yeah, it would have bounced right off of it.
Yeah, I like the good try though. That was awesome.
Yeah. Anybody else?
I don't have any questions about the campaign itself, but I did want to say that I would like to see, since all these characters lived, I would like to see the occasional one-shots in the future where just random people just team up and go off on adventures together. Like, you know, me and Nick go out, or me and Mark go out, or me and Zara go out and heal a bunch of people or something. I don't know. We just go out and do some stuff, you know, team up like 2-3-man teams and go out and start having adventures.
Well, that's actually something that I wanted to bounce off of you guys and get an idea for is just going down the line. Each of you, if you want, can throw up what you think that character would do going forward, since they're not actively part of the campaign at this point. Like, what would they be doing next? So, well, we start with Zito. What would Zito be doing?
I think Zito would take his apprentice Needles, and he would have him instated into the Impactu Arcanum, or at least try to.
Oh, really?
And while Zito himself will oversee any of the monstrous races who wants to become wizard.
Oh, interesting. What about Byron, Mark? What would Byron be up to?
I'd be managing the bar for as horribly as you would do, but mother-in-law's there to handle most. And then probably I would explore and memorize the entire sewer system of the.
I was gonna say he's still got his beloved is out on an archaeological dig out somewhere.
Oh, she's got to come back before I can do anything with her.
Really? You don't think that he would go out to find her and surprise her?
Oh, she left him to go do it, so he's no, he's not pussy whoop.
Plus, I think Byron, it always seemed to me that Byron was the type of guy that's really, really just bound to that area. Like, Sharn is kind of like his stomping grounds and his place, and he intends to stay there.
Yeah, Byron, you know, does his little messenger or delivery duty, and he's back in town. He doesn't like being out in the wild.
He's urbanized.
Gentrification.
Byron is gentrified.
Oh yeah, by living in the sewers. Yeah, I'm good.
What about Nicholas? What will Nicholas do?
We talked about it before. I think that with the gold, he'd probably buy an apartment with Zara and Sharn and, I don't know, retire. Do some side work maybe.
Maybe go apologize to her brother for keeping him waiting.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you and I kind of discussed like a little bit of like things that have gone on in the city post the incident, and how Nicholas had received an invitation to attend the funeral of Agent Blackwater.
Yeah.
And we all know that Zara most likely did not attend that funeral.
Nope.
Samael presided over it.
I don't know what you're talking about. I think Zara would have spat on her grave.
Actually, that's exactly what she was gonna do. That's exactly what she was thinking. As it goes by, she spits.
Well, you wouldn't
somehow-
help deliver it to her brother? Her corpse?
No, somehow read her
His
eulogy.
her dying wish? Come on.
Yeah, what's up with that, Derek? What about Nicholas?
What do you
Yeah,
mean?
you know her brother?
Yeah.
Yeah, I
What's up,
do.
what's up with her brother?
So, Sabrina is also. I mean, Zara is also curious. Nick, what do you have against my brother? What's wrong?
Oh no, I was
Oh,
talking
no.
about Agent Blackwater's brother.
Oh,
So-
another
Yeah.
brother.
Am I to understand that he's hung out with her family and is friends with her brother, but not Zara's brother? What the hell?
He's not
Exactly,
friends
he
with her
likes
brother.
the ex's brother, but doesn't like the new wife's brother. Seems to be my opinion that I'm seeing.
Damn, he's treating his wife like a side chick. Ugh.
Guys, truth is, Blackwater, Zara were all side chicks. It was all along.
All along, that was the secret.
The main girlfriend.
Nick
was actually
has
Samael,
Nick has 3 other wives
and a boyfriend.
and a boyfriend. No, all of his other wives are boyfriends. They're all changelings.
Oh god.
By Bryn.
Hey, what? That's where he got all the dexterity from. When Nicholas swings, he swings.
But yes, so Nicholas, after the incident, was contacted by House Fjarlin, and also his own house was that he was debriefed on what happened to Agent Blackwater, and then he was invited to her funeral, and that's where Nicholas reconnected with her brother Elric. And Elric gave Nicholas a recommendation to the king's special clandestine organization called the Dark Lanterns. Gave him a little bit of a letter of recommendation, a little step up for him above the Inquisitors.
What was that name again?
It's called the King's Dark Lanterns.
No, I mean the guy's name.
Oh, his name is Elric. Agent Fateweaver. And needless to say, Elric was very distraught over the death of his sister. And what did Nicholas say to Agent Weaver? Derek?
He just bumped into him and basically said, well, he asked if he was going to attend the funeral, and he bumped into him in a disguise saying I was here. Basically just to, old memories since his childhood. And we talked, how much do you want me to share? We talked a little bit about what happened. He wrote the letter. Basically, Elric wrote a letter to Nick asking how she died. And Nick pretty much lied. Well, they didn't fully lie. He told a white lie, basically blaming the cult and that she was mind controlled by the cult, kind of giving a better, death to her brother, a heroic death than, being like, oh, she's evil.
Yeah.
Based on the past. And basically, he didn't say anything about Samael and protection of him.
Wow. He had your back, Samael.
Well, that's the reason I was able to deliver the eulogy at her funeral. It was just a private joke. Zara even attended. She giggled.
Nick, yeah.
That was the big joke.
See, Nick was like, I actually know someone perfect to head over the funeral. Actually, Sam. It was all a big joke.
The great thing about it is that her soul is loosely connected to me through the Keeper, so there is a chance that she might have saw the butt, that herself being the butt of the joke.
Because Nick, when Jeremy was like, "Did you write anything about Samael in the letter?" I was like, "Yeah, he knows what would happen if he put his name in there."
You could have put Samael's name in that letter. You could have told him that Samael killed that bitch, and Samael would have been 100% ready.
Except you'd been hunted by a lot of people.
We're not ready for World War II.
Dude, Samael is like in so many precarious situations to be hunted by a lot of people. He's okay with it, I assure you. Samael lives in a world where he is surrounded by enemies.
So, my question is, what do you think Samael would do post-Crisis in Sharn?
Are we asking everybody else, or are we asking Samael? Because I really would like to hear what everybody else thinks Samael is doing first.
Well, let's find out what everybody thinks first, and then you can reveal if you like.
Okay.
I mean, I don't see Samuel as one to stay in one place very long and twiddle his thumbs, so he's probably out killing people for the Reaper.
He's probably hunting down the cultists.
Yeah.
I think you're gonna die, Samael. I think you died somewhere along the way.
I like all these answers so far. Byron, what you think?
Well, I think you're hanging out at the pub there and just drinking your life away, explaining on how you're going to kill everybody and just be too drunk.
Brunhild?
Yeah, Brunhild, what do you think? What do you think Samael's going next?
She just looked at me, shrugged her shoulders, and said, I have no clue.
Spill the tea, Kevin. What do you think? What do you think Samael's going next?
If you give me just a slight little bit of liberty, I'll tell you exactly where Samael's going.
Well, you can say where you think he's going, if you like. Or you can say specifically.
Samael has not left Sharn. He is still there. He is passively helping rebuild the church and hunts down the occasional cultist for fun. He does go down to the bar and have a drink every once in a while. He's no longer a member of the Impetu Arcanum. He turned his ring in and walked away. He's got too many things on his plate. He just can't be bothered with it at the moment. Hold on a second.
Speaking of not being bothered.
And the other thing is that Samael is, what is it? He's been doing a lot of research throughout the town. He hasn't told anybody what he's researching, but he is doing a lot of research. Occasionally he writes letters back and forth to Zito regarding his research. He has stayed in contact with every other member of the party, wishing them well, checking on them to see how they're doing and making sure there's no problems. And is currently, occasionally you can see him and a young lady named Yasmina going out for dinner every once in a while.
Very nice, very nice.
And that's what Samael is currently doing. Keep in mind, I mean, that's pretty tame ending, but Samael's volatile is all get out, so I mean, it's a good chance he might blow up at some point.
What about Brunhild, Rachel? What would Brunhild be doing after the crisis, after the big encounter in the sky?
Probably visiting my dad and petting my dog.
That sounds like a good idea. Maybe taking a break from adventuring.
Well, she has recently found out she's not a big fan of elves.
Oh my.
Considering 2 of them has tried to hit her in range attacks.
A little bit of racism towards elves, I see.
A little lot, yeah. A little lot.
Yeah, you shouldn't be prejudiced, jeez.
So, what was your favorite part from the finale, Rachel?
When the unicorn died.
Aw, that was pretty sad.
It was pretty sad.
I think that's when the audio died. That was right before the audio died. where it stopped recording. So at least
It was
that,
all
yeah, it was the 3 keys is what killed our stream, guys.
it was the rest was too confidential. It was too, it was all the unicorn.
It was all the unicorn's fault.
So now I know in the future, don't kill any unicorns in the game.
Especially stuffed unicorns. Would you like to know a secret about that unicorn?
Yes, very much so.
Its horn was a wand of wonder.
What is a
That's
little
cool.
kobold running around sticking wands of wonder into stuffed horses?
And then saying she can get another.
Strange indeed. Maybe you'll encounter that little kobold again one day.
I think Zito is encountering her very regularly.
I mean, we all know just how loose the armory was in that place.
To give you that one, Jeremy, that place was not run well.
That was intentional. How do you think she got her hands on a wand of wonder?
I don't know, that place didn't have any magical items. Is that why we don't have any magical items there?
Yeah, I wonder, huh?
This adorable little kobold just cleaning them out all the time.
Maybe. She did say that she could get another one. Yeah, it's there was a lot of things that went on in the background behind the scenes that if you know me and you know my style of running a game, I like to have things going on that the players can interact with and also can happen regardless of player interaction. So, for example, you have this cult that are doing things in the background that you guys can run across them, and there are hints dropped here and there of their activities. I kind of went over this with Derek a little bit, that the whole situation with the staff, that whole situation, the creation of the cult, all that was 7,000 years in the making. During the fall of the Goblin Empire, a black dragon named Viverix turned against his brethren and was assisting the Dalkir lords, who are the ones that rule Zoriat, and systematically destroying the Goblin Empire. So they stopped this dragon, trapped him under the city in an old temple that was essentially a place where their most dangerous criminals and enemies of the state were held. And this thing also happened to be insane because its brain was slowly being eaten and taken over by a mind flayer tadpole. And this elven woman, who was a very powerful wizard, she and her lover, who was a champion of Dol Ra, was a hobgoblin champion of Dol Ra. They and a collection of heroes banded together and they sealed this dragon underneath Sharn. And the hobgoblin was mortally wounded. The wizard took his body and interred him in the city of the dead. And then over many hundreds of years, as that wizard became a positive energy lich, she put her phylactery in the wall. And that was the tomb that the party found at the very beginning of the adventure. And that was her phylactery. And the staff that Blackwater wanted to get her hands on used to be her staff. That staff was passed down from generation to generation and became a symbol of the office of the High Wizard of Sharn. The previous High Wizard, before Keller Vizara came into power, was murdered by Agent Blackwater, who was trying to get her hands on the staff. She then put herself into position as the High Inquisitor, killed the High Inquisitor and took her place, just so she could go into the vaults underneath the Citadel and try to find the staff, because when she killed the High Wizard, the original High Wizard, he didn't have the staff. So while she was embedded within the Inquisitor's office, that's when she slowly started to learn about this gold that the Lord Mayor had taken and hidden, and rumors about a staff, rumors about a stone, rumors about the Sea Maiden's Fair and this mysterious Zorda Zord who was also looking for the staff. And pretty much everything you guys have done has been in one way, shape, or another has been attached to Agent Blackwater's quest to get the staff and to find the vault. And she basically made you guys do all the dirty, like, heavy lifting and running around the city for her.
I think Nick was in cahoots with her.
What do you say about that, Nick?
I think the only one that I would think that would be a part of the plan would be Siegfried, as he literally was the walking microphone.
So yeah, I say all that to say that was all. I can reveal all that to you guys now because that was all part of Agent Blackwater and the monster that she freed from underneath the city. That was all part of this chapter.
Now, what was Blackwater's true motivation? Surely she's not just mad that her ex dumped. Or maybe.
Oh, no. That was all a ploy. The whole thing, she was pissed off about about Nicholas and Zara. That was all a ruse. She was trying to get you guys on Zardos's ship because she had been sending people to get on the ship and they kept disappearing. So she was trying to get you guys on the ship to find out what he knew about the staff. So that's why she cooked up this ridiculous situation that would force you guys to go onto the ship.
Well, damn.
She also didn't like Zara at all.
So what happened to the staff?
I thought Zito took it.
Yeah, Zito handed it over, but Zito will probably want to know what's going on with it.
Wait, who did he hand it over to?
The guy in charge who asked him to turn over all of the possessions.
Oh, you gave it to Sir Tython.
Oh, I thought it was Barnabas.
Well, Sir Tython is the Knight Marshal of the Citadel. He's like the highest official of the Citadel Guard. He's the guy you guys encountered in session 3, in episode 3.
I mean, if Zito can get that staff as a reward, I mean, Zito wouldn't complain about that either.
Well, I can tell you that the item was immediately put into the vaults, and its whereabouts were communicated to the council. And eventually, the current High Wizard of Sharn would have gone and checked it out and made sure that it was in fact the original staff, the actual staff. Now, whether or not she would have taken that staff as a symbol of her office, you don't know.
Wait, you mean that Zito would know if Keller would take that staff or not?
You wouldn't know
This
what.
have all been done secret.
She would not have shared with anyone outside of the council. She would not have shared with anyone that the staff was found. There was a reason why it had been hidden in the first place. but it was stolen from the vaults by the former Lord Mayor. It was actually used to create the Stone of Galore. Which Nicholas still has. How about that? What's Nicholas going to do with that stone? Is he ever going to, like, break that stone and see what happens?
No, he loves asking it questions, though.
Why would he kill Roger like that?
Poor Roger. He's going to be stuck in Nicholas's bag of holding forever.
No,
Every
I
day.
remember him saying he liked it that way.
Yeah. And then pull him out and ask him a question, and then put him back in.
He has a real easy life.
Nick's using the Stone of Galore like it's Siri. Hey, Roger.
The weather outside is 63 degrees.
I hate you, Nicholas.
I'm, like, hey, so what happens if I free you? What are you gonna give me?
Well, I guess you'll have to find out, Nicholas.
You know,
I can tell you what would happen if you freed him outside of game.
What? Go berserk?
Do you want me to tell everyone?
Sure, why not?
You would have served your new lord and master, Roger. If you freed him from the stone, he would have risen and he would have dominated you.
Wow.
So
what is Roger?
you won't find out until you get him out of the stone.
He's a powerful creature, I know that.
Yeah,
Anything that talks to you inside an object, I feel like, yeah, that's powerful.
that could tell you legends and secrets about everything.
aka Lord Siri.
Hey Siri. Brought to you by Apple.
So I have a question about one of the characters.
Go ahead.
So when we were introduced to Istrid, we were introduced as us having a falling out, but I don't know what that is.
Oh, well, that was essentially Istrid wanted to be with Brunhild, but Brunhild didn't. Well, we kind of covered this with your backstory. Brunhild used to be affiliated with Istrid and her friends, the Doom Raiders, but when the Doom Raiders basically cast off after the war, cast off their moral compass and decided to become mercenaries working for anyone and everyone and the criminal organization known as the Boromar clan, Brunor decided, I don't want to be involved with those people anymore.
That makes more sense.
So yeah, Istrid was, that's why Istrid gave Brunhild a big old smack on the mouth.
And then lived happily ever after.
Yeah, I'm sure she came to go hang out with you and your dad.
And my dog.
And your dog. It it remains to be seen whether or not she actually ever paid you guys for your services. Because things kind of hit the fan, so to speak, almost immediately after you sent her to the manor.
I think we would be eating after she revived 2 party members.
That's true.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, she did bring Nicholas's wife back to life, and Siegfried.
Yeah, that's pretty expensive.
It's actually not as expensive as you think, but she kind of overinflated that considering how much magic she used to help you guys out. I mean, she did burn through a banishment spell to try and help you guys defeat that monster. Those aren't cheap.
Nope.
But
But to be honest, she burnt that spell to save her own ass.
it's true. Yeah, she was totally just trying to save her own ass. She's like, what is that? It looks like a dragon, but it has an octopus for a head. In case you guys hadn't like picked up on it, you guys fought like a mini Cthulhu.
I picked up on it.
Okay. Yeah, I was trying to kill you guys hardcore.
You about killed me, so good
Yeah.
job.
Yeah. I dropped
The
it.
trick is, Jeremy, is that you gotta kill Zito in the most ridiculous way possible, because that always works. Not when you intentionally try to kill him.
Well, I was trying to eat Zito. Like, that was going to be what I was going to do, is I was going to grab Zito, and I was trying to eat Zito, and then I decided to try to eat Samael instead, but I just didn't have enough rounds to get around to doing it.
Jeremy
What?
was actually trying to eat Samael.
Oh, yeah.
Jeremy himself.
Jeremy himself was trying to eat Samael.
No homo.
Full homo. Giggity. So, well, we've kind of covered most of what I wanted to talk about. The only other thing that I wanted to ask you guys is, how excited are you for the next chapter of the adventure? I mean, we've got a handful of players from both groups. Did you guys want to kind of go over your characters, or did you want to keep that special for now until we actually begin?
I'll go with my character if everyone else wants to.
Okay.
Well, I'm playing a Warforged Sorcerer who was right on the edge of Ground Zero of the morning in the nation of Seer. And was originally going to be a cook during the war, but when the explosion happened, something was absorbed into his body, or it was like the magic from the. Sorry, my dog's shaking over there. Something happened, and the magic was absorbed into his body, and which seems to have caused some sporadic outbursts of wild magic.
And he's a Warforged.
He is a Warforged.
That's interesting. Our first Warforged player character. I wonder how Byron would feel about that.
Not allowed in the bar.
No Warforged allowed, big old sign on top. Get out of here, Clanker.
They don't drink
So then,
anything.
Mr. R, if Mr. R lives in the attic, what's that?
That's a good question. Nobody has asked me the question that should be on everyone's minds. What happened to Mr. R?
Byron killed him.
Well, Byron really didn't care.
You can teach a tin can to speak fancy if you want to, but at the end of the day, he's still a clinker. Right, Byron?
Yep, makes a great trash can.
Yeah, it's just a trash can with a fancy sound effect board.
I'll never forget Byron slipping into the shadows and trying to talk to the guy, the constable, the talking trash can.
Oh, I'd had a small phone call for a second there, so I'm not sure if anybody mentioned this. So I'm sorry to jump back in time, but one of the favorite parts from the campaign, and I don't know if anybody mentioned this yet or not, was when that guy was trying to kill Nick, and I thought Nick was getting ready to attack him or hit him with a big magic spell or something like that. And Nick just looks up and goes, "I'm not the one that shot you," and bounced. I died laughing.
Yeah, that was pretty funny.
That was pretty epic.
Bro, he almost killed me in like one hit. So I'm like, yeah, I'm getting out of here.
Yeah, that was exactly what your character should have done. That was one of the best roleplay moments I've seen. Nick was just like, I'm not the one that shot you, and dipped. Straight, gone. Nope, I'm out.
Nick's always getting blamed for somebody else's dirty work.
I know, all the time, all the time.
Literally.
Well, we have to admit, Nicholas has been a bit of a duplicitous character by nature.
That's why I want to do a one shot with Nick and Samael, because Nick knows what it's like to be a good guy and a bad guy. Samael does too. They're going to fit in great together. We're going to do all kinds of horrible things, just questionable motives all around.
Yeah.
So, Derek, why don't you tell us about your character, if you want, for the new chapter?
You mean Commander Data? Eli, well, he's a half elf wizard who basically inherited a airship that's broken in a warehouse from his great uncle who owes a lot of money. So his goal, I guess, is to fix the airship, maybe drive it, because he was a pilot in the war for House Leodar. What else you want to know?
Whatever you're willing to share.
Well, he's a part of the 12, which is a house of wizards from all the Dragonmark houses. He's super smart. He's a nerd.
What's his sign? He sounds like a Libra.
What do you mean?
He sounds like a Libra, but he might be a Scorpio.
I don't know what that is.
The Zodiacs, man.
Yeah.
What about you, Sabrina? What character are you going with?
Well, I'm glad you asked, Jeremy. I am going with a ranger. Her name is Lathana Aisha. She is a wood elf, and she is a bounty hunter. So yeah, cool stuff, guys. She works for a weapons dealer, a neutral weapons dealer on that's her main job, but she has connections all over the place, and she stays pretty neutral. However, you know, the tides turn, but her commitment is definitely to her family, who owns the company. And she may or may not be related to Zara.
Does she also throw lizards off the side of sky coaches?
I don't know. You'd have to ask her. I mean, she's definitely a hunter. I don't know if she likes killing things.
I could see her like making like a little shish kebab with lizards on the end of it and baking it over a fire.
You know, Zara and her may or may not have done that in their childhood. So yeah, that's Lathana for you.
Nice. What about you, Mark? I know you're still working on the overall idea of your character.
Well, now, I play a much older gentleman, Goliath. I fought for the Giants of the North during the war. Volunteered. First, they kept me as a slave for about 10, 15 years. Can't remember the time period. And slaved away till I was able to make crewman on an airship. And they assigned me to a group that raided Leodar ships and convoys. I threw many men over the edge of the ship and watched them plunder down 1,000 feet and watched their doom at the end as they splat like little bugs. Oh, now that the war has been signed, I got nothing else to do. I just roam from city to city and looking for work. It could be good work, it could be bad work. I don't know. As long as the pay is good, that's what matters.
Wow. Sounds like he might have a little interesting conversation with Eli.
Yeah.
I've been hanging out, just drinking away. It's a good way to meet friends, find out what the new town's like, and been here for a little few days here with the few drow that I used to hang out with, and just roaming around.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to see how that character interacts with the rest of the party. What about you, Kevin? I know you've got an interesting character you're working on.
Sure thing. Give me 1 second. I was just sitting up and getting ready to talk.
You should do the voice, Kevin.
The joke voice, is that what you're talking about?
Explain your character first, and then tell how it sounds.
Okay. My character, his name is. Give me 1 second. Actually, I gotta remember his. Never mind. My daughter remembered it. Apparently, she's a fan. Okay, my character's name is Vax Krokna. Vax Krokna is a member of the Lizard Folk. He's from one of the southern tribes, and he found out that the what do they call it? You know what? We're not going to go into his backstory because I haven't memorized it yet. But there's a lot of people who don't like him, and he got the hell out of the south. He's currently staying somewhere in the area of Sharon, hiding out. He is a barbarian. He has a bite attack. He also has a feeding frenzy and a barbarian rage. He is quite brutal. He does not understand human emotion because he is reptile by nature. So when he talks to people and you tell him something like, you go up to Brax and you're like, Brax, I got a promotion. He's like, that's great. But you could also go up to Brax and say, Brax, my puppy got eaten. And he's like, that's great. He just doesn't understand, but he's trying really hard.
That's great.
Yeah. So as for what Derek was talking about, he was saying, I was telling him and Jeremy the other day that I was going to use Brax and just put a lot of emphasis on the letter S when talking with him, give it a very snake-like sound. So Brax would sound more like this when he talks. And it's not really a big deal. It's just a slight inflection on the letter S. But I was joking around saying that the first time the party sees him, you have to remember, he's a barbarian. He's big. He's intimidating. He just looks scary as all hell. And when they first met the character and he responded to them, I was going to have him go, oh, you silly, silly salamanders. And something silly like that. Derek thought it was hilarious.
Or talking this really like girlish voice as this big menacing creature.
Jeremy and I were talking today that maybe Brax should actually carry a monocle around on him and put the monocle on because he has one bad eye and looks at you and then talks in a proper British accent, except for when he's raging.
And he wears a top hat made from a dragon marked elf.
Yeah, and with the dragon mark proudly displayed on the side, just to let him know that he's not fucking with him. But what Brax really does, I mean, he's just a barbarian, but he's not just a barbarian as well. He knows how to make weapons out of the parts of his enemies. So if he kills an enemy, and you kill an enemy, you loot the enemy for loot. I kill an enemy, the enemy is the loot. I take them apart, refashion them into new weapons, take them with me. They aren't gonna sell for a whole lot, but they're damn useful. And they come in handy. I can make armor out of my enemies, I can make weapons out of them, and do all kinds of fun stuff like that. Plus, being able to go into a barbarian rage and a feeding frenzy at the same time is just awesome. Because, I can You jump into a group of gnomes and hit 2 gnomes. I jump into a group of gnomes, hit 2 of them, and eat 1.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see how that works out.
And he's not a bad guy. He really isn't. He's actually about as nice a guy as a lizard man can be. The problem is, though, is that his brain is not a mammalian brain. He has a reptile brain. Some of the things that he does, like eating gnomes, can be construed as evil. But he's not evil. They really are just food to him. Like we were discussing with Jeremy the other day, there's going to be a conversation at some point between mine and Rachel's character over whether or not we should eat somebody. And Jeremy was like, I see a lot of intimidation roles in y'all's future. And I was like, no, you don't. We're not intimidating the guy. We're being legit serious. Who is going to eat him? Because he is going to get eaten. There's no intimidation about this.
But Rax is bigger than I am, so I will naturally be intimidated and probably let him have the majority of who or whatever we are determining whether to eat.
As long as you don't slobber on the part that I'm eating, we're good. We can share.
Which is a wonderful segue into Rachel, your character. Tell us about your character.
I'm a goblin. My name's Ohm. My friends call me Twinkle Toes. I'm a rogue. And my purpose in life is to eat everything at least once. Her favorites are birds, but she also dabbles in squirrels. She chewed a kobold's foot one time. That was nice until, it wasn't. So. And I'm working on a voice that I'm not so confident with yet because consonants, I already can't pronounce English. So pronouncing English with a weird accent is already difficult.
Well, I'm looking forward to hearing what you come up with.
I'm actually helping Rachel with her character. If y'all don't mind, I'll give her a hand real fast with a little bit more description of her character.
Go for it.
So Rachel's character was modeled after a video game character named Styx. Now, Styx is a goblin, Rachel's character is a goblin, and they're both rogues, but that's where the difference varies. Her character, this is the most murderous thing you've ever seen in your life, but she doesn't mean anything by it. She grew up homeless on the streets, poor, starving, was not able to eat food. Most of her food that she had growing up was from the rats she managed to catch in the streets. That being said, in a city-like location, she is pretty much unstoppable. She can run through holes that normal people can't fit through. She, like a regular rogue, would sneak up on you in the shadows. She's more likely to be hiding in the rafters waiting for you. Imagine a combination of a gremlin and Chucky from Child's Play. And that's her character. Her mouth is way too big, even by goblin standards, and she has a tendency to try to swallow things whole that normal people would not, such as birds, cats, squirrels, rabbits, things like that. If you're getting ready to get backstabbed by her character, a normal rogue comes out of the shadows and backstabs you. Most likely she's in the rafters above you, like one of the aliens from the movie Alien. You're going to see a long line of drool, and right when you look up is when you're going to catch the backstab. She carries a short sword with her that somebody threw at her one time. She refers to it as her butcher knife. And she really does just want to go on a culinary experience across the world. Unfortunately, that culinary experience includes most humanoids, small animals, and really anything she can fit into her mouth. You're as likely to see her eating a rock as you are seeing her eat a squirrel.
So what you're saying is the standards in which the Order of Orion have used to bring in new potentials have kind of been loosened a little bit? Well,
the problem is with her character is that she picked up a name for herself, operating as an assassin in various mercenary groups along the city. I'm assuming this is in cleaning up the cults and some of the battles that have gone on recently, but her skills are unparalleled in terms of stealth and dexterity. There is nobody better than her, and because of that caught their attention. Now they're just trying to figure out how to civilize her.
She ate the ring.
She ate the ring.
That would be kind of funny if every time she tried to use the ring, she had to rub her belly and talk.
Yeah, her tummy starts glowing like ET's.
Pretty much, yeah. And she's tiny little thing. She's only like 2 foot tall. I mean, she is just literally this tiny little goblin with a big damn knife. But that's what makes her character great. You see, with the kind of character she has, in a one-on-one fight, she's going to lose almost every single time against everybody. But if she catches you by surprise, it's over. It is literally over. There is no chance you're coming out of this. If she gets the drop on you, you are done. And that's what makes her character so interesting. She's literally a glass cannon, one-shot kill. But the team has already discussed this, and we're going to try to work around that so that her character can be more maneuverable, get around the field of battle, and really, play to her strengths. That's why we have big damn characters like Vrax and Devin's new character to really soak up some of that damage and give her room to maneuver. Basically, we're going to be supporting the rogue instead of just letting the rogue support himself.
That all being said, she's not evil, just hungry and extremely curious.
Well, were any of you curious as to how much time has passed since the chapter ended?
Yes.
Yes.
It has been 4 months. So when we begin, your parties will be in the month of Baracus.
So I have a feeling that the town or the city or whatever is gonna have still be trying to cope with what happened 4 months prior.
Quite a bit will have happened, yes, and it's essentially in the midst of summer, getting close to the end of summer, so it's very hot.
Look, I'm naturally short and fat in real life, and I hate the heat. Why are you doing this to my poor goblin?
That's just the way it worked out. But yeah,
Vrax doesn't mind the heat. He enjoys it.
Well, I'm glad that everybody was able to hop on and, chat about the finale, since we unfortunately lost the entire session except for a little bit at the very beginning. I appreciate it. I had fun running the session for you guys. I've had fun running this campaign for you guys, and I'm excited to see where it goes next.
We are going down a very monstrous path on my team.
That you are. Whereas on the other end of that spectrum, the other group is going down a much more interesting path. Or I shouldn't say more interesting, a different kind of interesting.
Yeah, we're a bunch of civilized monsters trying to prove we're civilized. That's going to be an interesting run. We're going to be dealing with a lot of racism. And don't worry, Jeremy, I'm going to help you with your racism. I'm a master.
Okay.
I'm excited for my goblin to walk into an establishment and be called a trash gnome.
Oh, the trash gnome?
Is that a thing in D&D? Do they refer to goblins as trash gnomes?
I mean, technically they kind of are.
All right. Nice.
Yeah. I mean, why not? Let's coin a phrase. Why not?
If anybody gives me a hard time, I'm going to claim to be Dragonborn.
We'll have a shirt made with Twinkletoes' face on it that says Trash Gnome.
Fantastic.
And the O
Yeah.
will be her. The O and the gnome will be her face.
Unlike most people, we're not offended by racism. We embrace it, so bring it on.
Okay then. Well, I think that's pretty much all I had to cover, unless you guys had something else that you wanted to discuss.
There is one more thing talking about transitioning from this campaign to the next. I
Okay.
think we might want to do a one-shot with Zara and her brother.
A one-shot with Zara and her brother?
Or with Nick or something.
That can totally be arranged.
Because it may or may not, you know, have something to do with the next campaign.
Well, we can totally talk about getting that set up, and we can totally do that.
Cool beans.
Not sure when we'll do it, but we'll get together and we'll record something. Oh, we'll see how many other of the original members of the group want to do that one shot.
We should have something evil happen there that Samael perceives as her brother being evil, and then the whole party has to drag Samael off her brother. That'll be tons of fun. Good icebreaker.
You never know what will happen.
You know, when Samael was doing the whole hunt down evil thing, I really expected you to be a lot harder on me about it. Like, you know, we have like a good character that's a friend of ours, like Rainier. Does something Samael perceives as evil? Does Samael go after Rainier, or does he leave him alone? What would Samael do? You know, it really just put me in some difficult situations where the party's like, man, fuck Samael, come on.
I thought that was already a thing. Brunhild had many times where she looks at you and goes, "Stop it. Shh, it's okay."
No, it could have been a lot worse. I like to think the DM actually held off on me a little bit so the party wouldn't turn on me and crucify Samael.
Me too.
I mean, I don't know if you noticed, but I don't hold you guys back from anything. I just let you go.
Well, I appreciate you taking it fairly easy on me. Even though I did snatch that keeper sword up fairly quickly.
Well, even though Semaya may be going into retirement, who's to say what will happen in the future?
There's a good possibility he might end up as a bad guy for the other team. Derek.
Oh man, can you imagine?
What? Samael was a bad guy?
Right?
See, he doesn't seem that bad right now, but in one more level, Samael gets +4 to all saves, just because he's a paladin. And then after that, he starts picking up warlock abilities that enhance his combat power. Nothing but things that enhance his combat power. The warlock abilities I was going to pick for him are the ones where he can see, he can detect magic at will, and see in all forms of darkness, magic and non-magical. So Samael is going to be a real bastard when it comes to hunting people down in the future. That was the intentional route for him. It was there's a bunch of warlock smites that he was going to pick up, so he could literally stack up like 3 smites on an attack and hit you and just knock you into next month, if not another dimension.
Well, don't give away all the goodies. You never know.
Oh,
You
no.
might revisit them one day.
We haven't even gotten to my my ultimate ability, Hurl Through Hell. We'll deal with that later.
Okay.
Don't even bring up the mount. Oh my god.
He's gonna come out looking like Cosmic Ghost Rider.
Cosmic Ghost Rider. Like a medieval Cosmic Ghost Rider. That's him, yeah.
Well, if there's nothing else, I think we can go ahead and call it.
All right. Have a good night, all.
Real
Take care.
everybody.
Yeah.
Until
It
the
has
next
occurred to
chapter begins.
It has occurred to me that 3 of these people will not be playing with me in the future.
Right? This might be the last time that you talk to them in a game format for a while.
Yeah, Byron done fucked off completely. I can't even tell him bye.
Dun dun dun.
So
He
the
was like,
continue.
fuck, man, I'm glad to be done with Samael.
He's like, oh, I don't ever have to hear him try to contemplate one more decision ever again. Ugh.
Well, I get to play with all of you, so it's not going to be any different for me.
That sounded oddly hot and arousing at the same time. Say it again.
No.
Oh, Dad, you were on that phone call earlier when Jeremy made a reference, and I said no homo, and he said full homo in reference to you.
Nice.
It's been a weird day. I may have had some cough syrup. No, I'm kidding.
That lean.
Yeah. Let me lean into the microphone for you. Hello. Welcome to the Quiet Storm. Can we just talk for a minute about how 2 members of Derek's group, Derek and Sabrina's group, both have the last names that start with the word storm?
Wait, we do?
What? What are the names again? Tell me the names again.
What's Eli's last name?
Stormbringer.
Guess
Oh,
what?
change it to Stormseeker.
Guess what? Guess what Mark's last name, his character is?
What?
Stormcaller.
What?
Not
Really?
a whole meteorological forecast up in here.
Yep, Stormbringer and Stormcaller.
Welcome to Team 8, brought to you by Weather.com.
We should totally change it to Lathana Aisha Thunderstorm.
Well, her name used to be Shadow, so you know.
How about Stormseeker? She could be Stormseeker, Stormcaller, and Stormbringer.
I want
Hailfall.
I want everyone in the group to have a name that part of it starts with Storm now, just for the hell of it.
Team
Why
Quiet
not?
Storm.
We're all related.
Or something rain related.
They're all related West Virginia style.
Ugh.
It's a giant, it's all cousins. Yeah, we're a venture group. We're all related.
It's like when y'all was kids and you're all like, we're gonna be adventurers when we grow up together. But then
Storm fodder.
Storm fodder.
Yes.
So I will say that the name for the first session, I think I've already said it before, but I'll go ahead and say it again. So next session will be session 28, New Kids on the Block, which would be Derek and Sabrina's group's first session.
I love them.
And your characters for Scorch, Twinkle, and Rax's will be called Here There Be Monsters.
Why is it not step by step? You already went with New Kids on the Block.
Because it makes more sense to call it Here There Be Monsters.
Step by step.
Ooh, baby.
Jeremy.
Oh, Lord.
I'm gonna get to you,
To you,
girl.
girl.
Well,
We've just been copyright struck.
you know what? I'm going to go ahead and say no homo, and I'll catch you guys later.
All right. Take care, Kevin.
Same here.
Bye, Rachel.
See y'all. See y'all.